What? Oh, yeah. Hold on a minute. It's the Monday Morning Show. Today is March 28th. I'm Ken LaSalle. You can find me on kenlasalle.com and all around the internet. But today I'd like to discuss with you something very specific. After all, this episode is titled Ken LaSalle Addresses the Vaginal Orgasm. Right? So I suppose we should get right down to it. So Vicky and I were watching Girls off of our DVR last night. So, it's a few weeks old. But anyway, we're watching this scene that takes place at a retreat where women are exchanging sob stories. Which is not a dig against women. My kind has video games. Anyway, one of them makes a reference to what she calls a vaginal orgasm. I pause the show. I look at Vicky and say, "Vaginal orgasm?" She thinks for a moment and says, "Yeah, there's that and the clitoral orgasm." And I think exactly what any well-cultured child of the 70s, but living in the now, would think. Which is, of course there's two different kinds of orgasms for women. Of course there are. Men, we just have one. But for women, of course there are two. Meanwhile, concurrently, at the same time, I have another thought, which is, isn't that just like a woman? And seriously, isn't it? Because men have just one classification for orgasms, and that is that they're great. Every one of them is a winner. Why, you could hand me one blindfolded, and I won't ask to look. You see, my point is, you've seen one. Who cares about two? One is pretty damn wonderful. But for a woman? For them it's, oh yeah, well, what kind did you have? Isn't having one good enough? Do we need to apply labels? But this is how it's been since the dawn of man. Since the dawn of people. God, that sounds awful. And yes, I'm using the spelling G-A-W-D. And it is at this very moment when you might begin to see the tears around the edges of my point. We don't need to specify every little thing. Do we? Now, I'll leave it up to you to cut my last two sentences out of this diatribe to use against me at will at some future date. I'll even say them again in case you missed them. We don't need to specify every little thing. Do we? That's right. Do we? Because I know that sounds like the same argument every guy who can't understand the vaginal orgasm or the clitoral orgasm or the shopping spree at Nordstrom's with a credit card with no limit orgasm might make upon, well, let's call it failure to perform. But I'm aiming at a bigger picture here. I just need you to bear with me as I try to figure out what the hell I'm trying to say for myself. The fact is, we do. We do need to specify every little thing. Or instead of needing to, rather, we should say we feel as though we need to. We do it more and more, classifying every person into this category or that, naming who the terrorists are before we even know them, belittling those who don't even live on the same continent. Our words have more power to harm others now than at any time in history. The ability to inspire, as well as the ability to corrupt, flows to us on the same river. Our ambition should not be to sift the waters of the river, but rather to welcome the world in, knowing that it is we who decide how these abilities are used. What's that have to do with the vaginal orgasm? I don't know. Maybe nothing at all. But hey, I didn't force you to come on this ride. You came willingly. In fact, you're still coming. Oh, that's not right. Yeah. Well, you're still on the, well, Listen, we're all different. All of us. You can classify each person on the planet under some category in which only they would fit. But what would be the point of it? Does that really make us any safer? No. It only serves to push others away. And don't get me wrong, we're all exactly the same as well. And the problem is that most of us forget that. We're all human beings trying to find our way through a rather difficult world. A world that is often far more difficult than it even needs to be. Sometimes the difficulty feels punitive in nature, as if there were some greater power. Which, of course, there is. And you don't need religion to understand this idea, because the greater power out there in the universe, the creation greater than yourself, is all there is and all there ever will be. It is the universe itself. Of course it's greater than you. It's everything. Almost. I mean, it's not personal. It's not aware. At least, not on the same level as us. Not right now. The universe is as cold as it is perilous. But it also contains flowers and candy corn and giraffes and you and me. And in truth, it also contains both the vaginal orgasm and the clitoral orgasm. Hell, in my house, it sometimes includes the he actually washed the dishes without having to be asked orgasm. I've seen it. No woman is the same in so much as which counts for how many points, but then again, I come from the video game world, so you'll just have to find someone to translate. And you never know how they're going to react. And you also never know how soon they'll break your heart, or make you break theirs, or leave you, or even die. There are no answers. Chaos does exist. But why crave order when now you have not one, but two orgasms to shoot for? Oh, wait, no, that's unfortunate language. Just, until next time, be good to yourself, be kind to others, and let's make this world a better place.